birthday parties as a kid, the pinatas were pretty filled. So even then, I don't think...
Okay, the networks are down, the equipment is ready, and we've crippled their supplies. Mrs. Rackman has written our check and given us the green light. We're good to finally move on that submarine and stop this threat once and for all. When you're ready, get your...
Yeah.
Madeline, of course, adds a little element more surprise by putting your out.
Yes. Pirated copies my own website.
Wonderful album, by the way.
Thank you. It's so sad to have been putting them in that, but at the same time, some good publicity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to get the album out there. Yeah. I mean, personally, did anyone try like these? Did anyone try cookies?
I don't think so. Again, I wasn't getting with that part, but I think A, probably quite a hard thing to do.
Yes.
B, with like the population dwindling, possibly not a great look to have someone hitting some bees with a bat.
Well, the hope is you just crack the pinata and the bees will fly out.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't aiming to kill all the bees.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, a good point. And with their renewed sort of freedom after being trapped in a pinata, they would have been extra keen to go out and like pollinate and like do whatever bees do.
So if anything, it's absolutely an environmental thing to do. And
That's what they do actually. The environmentalists they regenerate the bees. Yeah, they put them in a pinata. They get out and then they're
and then they're like, oh, I've got a real lust for life now.
Yeah.
And they just crack on with pollinating.
Yeah.
It puts me in mind of, though there is a danger, there was a live finale of RuPaul's Drag Race once, where one of the drag queens is the big...
I've seen this.
Yeah, the big final thing, but butterflies in her sort of, like sort of cage.
All right, we might...
Fake breasts, and then opened it up when these butterflies were supposed to fly out. And unfortunately, they'd been in there for a while and the butterflies fell out dead. It's a very dark moment in the history of Drag Race, but I do think about it at least weekly. I think about that.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think that's what would have happened.
Yes.
Not that they had long. Actually, maybe
Okay.
restraints would have really helped those bees.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I guess that would have been surprising as well if you dead bees fell out.
Yeah.
Lee, of course, plays his music.
Yeah.
Lee's constantly on the edge of doing something offensive, I think, for this whole series.
Sure. Yeah.
I talked to Ridley about it last week, about as soon as this with the national anthem thing comes up, you just feel everyone grip the side of the table, like, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
But he fills it with what he calls a chili pepper spice mix. His corn kernels and I think Madeline said that.
How we doing out there? Our guys still have a pulse? Because if not, this just became a very different kind of favor you're doing for me. I mean, I'm grateful either way, just hoping...
Yeah, and also, like, again, I never would have expected that. Like, if you told me 100 times on what I thought would be a hit, I would never say, on journalists, yeah. Especially that combination. Like, even if I think on journalists, it's really good combination. Yeah.
Really funny. I guess it is a surprising thing, but it's such a difficult line to walk this. Because you want something surprising, but you also want something that sort of makes sense. Because if you're just plucking random stuff that you can't explain, it's not. It's not good.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I think Angela does do it quite well. So she tries to get Christmas crackling going, so there's a back, but you pull the tail. And then it does have a whole piece through it as well. I mean, that is surprising, right?
What a business about someone else's pizza. And Christmas breakfast.
Yeah, things are Christmas breakfast. I think the whole thing being was very funny and well. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Ridley goes with what I think I like. I mean, I love these fact that you know Brindley means that you weren't surprised at all by this.
Yeah, I think it is right up Brindley's alley to do this. Yeah. So in a way, I think it was the least surprising, although most entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a tough one because I think it is definitely probably the best in terms of spectacle and kind of having a strong idea, but it was probably the least surprising. In a way. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had thought about that before I saw it being broken open. I thought that would be quite a fun thing to do. But yeah, potentially not surprising. And especially, I guess, if you know Brindley, that's the sort of direction you might expect it to go in. But you're right, it's the most entertaining, not necessarily the most surprising.
Yes. She famously loves skeletons, and this feels like kind of not like she would have put a skeleton in if she could have, you know.
If she had time to build the bones.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that. Imagine that being one of your things. She loves skeletons. Guy gets 1 point, which I think is fair. I mean, it's unfortunate that he was filmed after Madeline, and Jeremy says it's done damage to men's mental health because, of course, Guy does the speech about men's mental health. It's very funny, but 1 point for doing the opposite of what he was intending. Brindley and Lee get 2 points each, and Madeline gets 3 points, and Angela gets 5 points, which I think is a pretty solid thing, because that is surprising. There's a whole picture there.
To be fair, you were like going out of your way to hide your emotion, but I know you. Speaking of Cameron now, I've known Paul his whole life. He doesn't show many emotions. Isn't that just typical with cute males these days? They don't show what's on the inside, you know, they don't let their heart bleed. But I know when I saw Paul there, that was as surprised as he's ever been his entire life. This is about men's mental health awareness. Get out there, get yourself checked. Kick God defend New Zealand. Thank you, Guy. Thanks, Paul. I don't think anyone has ever done less for men's mental health awareness than you. Go out there and get yourself checked. Yeah. If anything, I've made the situation worse for a lot of men.
Let's now talk about the live task in this episode. Part 1, write down a sport, an animal, and a colour. You have 10 seconds to complete all 3. Part 2, strike a pose to represent firstly your sport, then your animal, then your colour. The taskmaster will attempt to guess which each pose represents. You may not speak or move once your pose is struck. Most poses correctly guessed by the taskmaster wins. This is hard because obviously you're writing everything down before you then find out part 2.
Yes.
So the worry is you're going to try and, if someone writes down really silly, wacky things, that they're going to be completely screwed over. I don't think anyone really does that, but it puts me in mind of a task in the last series of Taskmaster where I think they had to do drawings of things they'd written down, and Sam Campbell writes the most bizarre things that only occur to him that are at the front of his mind. So he's absolutely screwed himself over. But this, I find this quite hard, but you need to be on the same wavelength as Jeremy to do it. So for some reason, Angela just doesn't click in. What would you pick, Paul, if you had to do that?
The first 3 sports, maybe like basketball. I mean, the first thing that jumps into my head is cat. Cat. It's the first 3.
I mean, obviously, Guy plays basketball. So was basketball a big thing for you two growing up?
Definitely. Yeah. Huge for both of us. Couldn't get enough of it.
And is that as in you were looking to America and you thought America was kind of seen for basketball, or is there a big scene in New Zealand for basketball?
I think it was kind of America was cool, and also we had a next door neighbour, John Hudson. Shout out to John. Who also liked basketball. He was a little bit older than my brother, and so he liked basketball, and I still to this day support the Orlando Magic, and that's kind of through him having relatives in Orlando who would send him gear, and so he would be like, the Orlando Magic are a cool team, and as a little tiny boy I was like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Orlando's exciting anyway, right? Because Disney's there.
Disney World, yeah.
Orlando Magic, yeah. Of course.
Yeah. 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 And so, shout out to the Orlando Magic.
Shout out to them. Yeah, I mean, Brindley and Madeline do very well at this, but I think because especially like Brindley having a background in improv as well, and they're both quite theatrical in what they do comedy-wise sometimes, so it just feels like the perfect task for them. Lee obviously Lee doesn't write down the score because he doesn't have time because he's panicked, so he doesn't know pose, but Jeremy gives him a point because he perfectly. That's just a mess, but it's so funny that he can't write down 3 things.
So why does he give him a point?
Because I think Lee argues that he's written down nothing, he does nothing, so he's perfectly acting out the score.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but at that point I think Lee he only gets 1 point. Dora actually doesn't get any points because she does what I think if you're looking at it you might eventually work out it's cricket, but Jeremy guesses wood chopping.
And also Lee chose Lee. So my theory is that he spent a lot of his time thinking of a sort of niche animal.
Yeah.
And therefore ran out of time for the sport.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, this
10 seconds is not a lot of time. That's why I think you have just got to go first thing in my brain. Right then.
This also puts me in mind a little bit of in series 6 of Taskmaster UK. There's something where they have to write down animals and then are forced to act them out in front of their teammates. And Asim Chowdhury writes down animals that don't exist and just comes up with loads of stupid animals. And the look on his face when he has to act them out is still, it just lives in my brain. He's so
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's really funny. But Brindley and Madeline get the 5 points. Guy gets 3 points. Lee gets 1 point. And of course, 0 points for Angela, meaning Brindley wins the episode with 20 points. Madeline on 18 points. Guy on 13 points. Angela on 12. And Lee comes bottom with 11 points. Meaning that Madeline at this stage, after 3 episodes, is in the lead with 51.5 points. That 5.5 point really gets on my nerves. But half a point ahead of Brindley. Lee way down at 43 points. Angela 40 points. Guy rock bottom on 33 points. Paul, thank you so much for coming back on the Taskmaster podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I've
had a blast. And thanks for being on the Taskmaster podcast. That's right, you get welcomed and you get thanked.
Incredible. You're going to have to stick around for every podcast record I do for the whole thing.
Or just the start, I mean.
Just pop back in. Please come back on. We're gonna. I think our aim is to get through all of these episodes. We're gonna have to stop the UK ones at some point, I'd imagine. But you should come on at least once a series to talk about it.
I'd love to. And next time I'll rewatch the episode, so I'm more.
No, I think we picked an episode that a lot of it does live in your brain. So.
I mean, I was never gonna rewatch this one. For the free, but no, thanks so much for having me. I'll come on anytime you need. Anytime you can't get one of the contestants, just give me a note.
Okay, we're attempting.
So yeah, very welcome. So you're doing the Epic Fringe, are you?
I am doing the Epic Fringe.
Please tell everyone about that.
So basically, there's a festival that happens every year. And it's called the Edinburgh Fringe, and acts go up there, perform for like a whole month pretty much. And that's it, that's the Edinburgh Fringe.
And you're doing it, are you cool?
I am doing it, yes.
What's your show called? Where is it?
The show is called Mania 7, which is a camera, the name of it. So it's not just random. And it is at Leeds 640 at Assembly Roxy, which is not far from the President's Courtyard, if you know where that is. And lovely venue. The show I did a preview the other day, found very nice. The show is coming along nicely, and the sun's so exciting. Are you going
Great.
to?
No, I'm not going up at all. I will not be in the fridge this year. But are you doing any London dates? London dates?
I had 2 previews currently. I don't know if they'll be before this podcast.
Yeah, maybe not. But keep an eye out for Congress and French plenty other performances. And do go and see them. French show last year.
I'm sure I'll do some London shows after the
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Great. You can come back up here and give us another plug. We always ask our guests on the podcast to rate their experience on the podcast between 1 and 5 points. Feel free to be honest with your point score, please.
5 points. Easy. Well, actually, the one season 1 class on season 5.5 points.
Oh boy, I don't mind that half point. It's going to top 5. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you, Ed.
Thank you so much to Paul for coming along. We're getting to talk about South West New Zealand. He's been around in the UK a lot. Can't wait to talk to him about future seasons of Taskmaster New Zealand. But we'll be talking about Taskmaster New Zealand Series 1, Episode 4. For now, bye. And don't forget you can watch all of the Taskmaster New Zealand episodes on channel4.com.
Welcome to episode 3. I'll tell you what's going on. This Firstly, firstly, you tell us when annoying. You reckon this is the worst one for that? The problem? We are going to go back somewhere. How do you make this less bad? Oh? What is that? Yes, yes, it has
It's not my fucking bad, is it? You're the one who fucking walked.